Yes, go do it.
All right, guys. Hey, it's me again. Welcome to Youngstown Click. Welcome. I told you last week that this week we'd be talking to some of my real life people, real life friends. These two girls that I have on today are original parts of the Click. We send stuff back and forth, events going on, different things going on. They were both GM employees, so they've already lived through so much upheaval this past year in 2019, and now yet here we're facing it again. So I wanted to connect with them. I talked them into doing this interview, and I'm so excited to have them on with us today. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Ange and Trish. You could see their names right there on the thing. I'm just going to ask them questions, and guys, we're just going to welcome you into the conversation because we don't know what's going on in your homes, but we're just kind of inviting you to ours to kind of talk about and kind of listen in on some of the challenges and some of the pros and cons of this whole thing. And obviously, we want to hear your thoughts as well. So, Ange and Trish, welcome. Thank you for joining me today.
Hi.
I'm so excited. This is so exciting to be able to do. And that's one of the best things is this on purpose. Now we actually have the time to be creative in our connections. So that's cool. Okay. So I guess I'm going to just get started right off the bat. What is the biggest way that life has changed for you guys in this? I mean, obviously you've been through the ups and downs of the GM, and we might go back to that if we have time, but what's the biggest life changes, pros, cons, the way that you just talk to me about what's going through your head right now. I guess, who wants to go first?
You go, Ange.
So, the biggest way that life has changed is taking a step back, because normally I'm super busy running around doing everything. Work, I go to work 3 days a week, school 3 days a week, plus I have the kids, and I never have time to take time out. I am working from home and doing school online right now, but it's very different atmosphere. I'm not rushing to go anywhere to do anything. And I'm here with my 3 boys trying to do school with them too, which is craziness.
I love it. Wait, so do you actually miss going to the classroom, and can you tell everybody what it is you're going to school for, which I love?
I'm going to school for culinary arts, and it's very hard and it's very different because everything was hands-on, even. So doing it online, we're doing a video chat, and we're starting the hands-on tomorrow. But yeah, it's a big change.
Definitely. So what, obviously you mentioned the pro, which is you're more relaxed. You actually get to be doing school without leaving your boys.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And would that also be like, what is the biggest con for you? Like, what is the biggest area of sacrifice that you've had or you've seen in?
Not seeing my girls and my granddaughter. That's the biggest sacrifice, is trying to stay away from social distancing from them because of not wanting to, the fear that the media and everything puts in you. You're like, fear of going to see people and stuff, and when you have kids fearful, and then you're at one point I was scared that you have to reevaluate yourself because you can't be in that situation with your kids when being fearful when your kids have to find the hope and the positive to show them.
You hit on such a powerful thing. What have you found to deal with it for, especially because there's people right now who are dealing with the same thing, like trying to not only deal with what you're feeling about it, but also being strong for the children and people who are depending on you. So how have you been navigating that?
Looking to God and just praying to Him and reading the Bible and stuff, and that gives me trust and having faith in Him. That way I can teach that to my sons and my daughters.
Wow, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. if you don't have anywhere to go, then you become the source of all things. And none of us are that strong or that brave to be the source of all hope. But when you could go and actually go to someone that you could put your hope in, it changes everything. It's just remembering that in the midst of all the noise.
Right. So,
Right. All right, Trish, what about you? Go ahead and weigh in. What do you got?
A lot of changes even during it. Not working at my job anymore, then having to try to figure out exactly where to go with that. Work-wise, it's kind of hard to find a job right now. Finished with school, kind of in limbo, but glad to be home, and just grateful that I'm home right now and get to hang out with the kids.
Yeah. So
But go ahead.
Go ahead. So can you just walk us through, like you said, you're not working. Were you laid off because of the coronavirus, or were you like, and then we're going to go back to the GM thing and how even that looked like the end of the world, and then what kind of opened up for you guys through that. So, but in this moment, it was kind of due to the big layoffs that you kind of got round up in there?
No. No, I was in my 90 days. And I think with all of the happenings, I was working at the hospital and maintenance and being the only female in there and not having experience, they decided that they didn't want to put any time into me. And so given they were too busy, they were just too busy with everything going on in the hospital and changing in the fast pace of, it was getting hectic right when I got out, but they let me go in my 90-day period. Kind of made me feel like it was me, but I know really truthfully it wasn't. It was more that they just didn't want to take the time with me right then and there, and so they let me go. It was a little kind of hurt, but at the same time I figure it's just not where I'm supposed to be right now. But worried. I was working, now I'm not working.
Yeah.
And not being able to find a job, I don't want to rely that I'm going to get unemployment or the government, or, I don't really want to rely on that. So fortunately I had a little bit of money put aside so I can take a few weeks here and try to like regroup and, figure out where I'm going to be at with that.
That's good. That's good. And now I happened to be talking to you guys a couple days ago, and Trish's kids actually weighed in that they were excited to have their mom home. That's one of the views that they had, is what is considered such a obviously an unpleasant thing actually turns out to be something that your kids are actually appreciating. That extra
not the worst thing. It was scary being there in the sense that fear was running the show and everybody was afraid, and you couldn't help, but even though I wasn't in the direct line of that being necessarily, in with the patients, but you're in the hospital and it's just silent and it's strange and it's daunting in a way, because you're like, I don't want to bring this with me. If nobody wanted to be around me because I worked at the hospital, they kind of put that, you work at the hospital, you're tainted. It's a strange feeling. And I don't miss that part at all.
Speaking of being at the hospital, how was it when you were there? Was it getting crazy quite yet? Explain to us the kind of dynamic from the inside.
We had to get rooms ready in maintenance. I wasn't on the front lines necessarily of that, but I did get to do some of it. They were trying to get rooms ready and different floors and different areas right as I was getting ready to go. They needed a lot more people than they had, to be honest, because they were trying to get all these floors ready, because more in one day it doubled. And in a matter of hours I was there, there'd be 5 people, 10 people. They would come in that they didn't know whether they were testing positive. They were just
scared.
You had to keep them in what they call negative pressure rooms. So they were getting ready to stage people, and it was getting a little bit crazy. And I probably put up 10 hand sanitizers in a day. And that, in my opinion, and that's all fear. That wasn't even around. It was stressful. it was stressful for everybody, even
Everybody's
from
at
the top to the bottom, you know.
feel the tension. Right.
Yeah.
So hold on. I'm good. I was going to ask you, what is the biggest thing you miss, both of you guys, but let's go back real quick. Both of you guys worked at GM, and when the media was saying basically the area was done for, and you guys have seen so much transition with the people that you love and even yourselves. And then I guess real quick, explain what you've been doing since then. And do you feel like that made you stronger? Like it almost gave you a one-up on the perspective, because now a lot of people are going through now what you guys went through a year ago, 9 months ago, or, when all that began to really take place. So do you feel like that prepared you, or do you feel like it made things harder for you that it happened so pretty close together? And explain to us what you're doing, like what you're doing after that, because a lot of people can't see past this, I guess is where I'm trying to go. People can't see that there's possibility of a life past all this. And yeah, we will all experience a new normal. I think that things have changed, perspectives have changed, we've changed, but it doesn't have to be a bad thing. So can you guys kind of give a little bit of a, life after GM, and whether you feel like it's prepared you for this, or what are your thoughts on that?
You go.
Okay. Well, actually going through GM made me realize, that the way I was looking, I was just thinking about it the other day, that if I would have chose to move when I was forced to, going through this, I would be away from my family. Who knows what would be happening. So I feel like God, things happened the way they did for a reason. And it prepared. Do I feel like I'm prepared for after this? I do, because I didn't depend on GM for like after GM. I mean, it took a long time. How many months? I'm going through school, and I work part-time, but I'm going to start a new career there. So there's always possibility to move on from where you were before. So change is the hardest in anything. Change is the hardest thing, because you get secure where you're at, and everybody's not working right now, and that's all they knew is their life is their work and going this, and that was how they were going to support themselves. And it's scary going through it, but there's always possibility for something to come out of it.
Yeah, I think that going back to the interview I just did with Rachel, she said that trying to control everything will inevitably and always result in anger, and undue anger towards the people that you love, because you're trying so hard to control everything. And what you said is the hardest part is change, because when you feel out of control and this change is happening that you didn't do, like you didn't choose,
right?
We tend to grab on to the reins and try to make that control happen. And what's going to happen is anger is going to come out in the worst ways, because we're failing at something that's impossible. You know what I mean? So that's a deep thing about the change. What about you, Trish?
Well, I would say it definitely prepared me, because when I thought things were going, I chose to go to school. Thanks to Ann. She kind of pushed me, to be honest.
She has a way of doing that.
School. True. It really, if it wasn't for her, I would probably not have. She pushed me in a good way.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what was going to come out of it. I had a job before I got out of school. And then when they decided to let me go, it made me question things. It really did. I'm not going to lie. It made me seriously question things again, like maybe, and I'm not cut out for this. I don't believe that's true, but I think that maybe it might even push me somewhere else, because I still might seek out maybe even a different route. I don't know, but I know that if I went through that, well, I came out all right. I had to do something different again. I don't know what per se, but once things settle back down, I'm going to look maybe into more school. And I know that I did it once. I'll do it again. It's just a little, I guess it's time to gather yourself together, and because we have no control. Like she said, we have no control over it. And I've had to just let it go. Just sit and let it go.
Right. So through this, I know that I have, and this is a big deal to me, I have taken more time to cook. I mean, I have made roast, I have made cookies, I have made chicken paprikash, things that I like, I never have time for. So that is like a big deal to me. So what's one thing or two things that you guys have taken the time to do that you would normally not have time for?
Can you think of one, Ange? I think I still procrastinate a little bit.
Yeah, I'm still procrastinating.
Yeah, no, you don't put it on.
I know.
The most thing I'm doing more is I've put away is reading my Bible. I pushed that off because I was so busy. That's the thing I've been
You
doing.
don't like
Right. Oh, that's so easy. Right. So easy.
it. And I'm in the
That's the
I
thing,
actually
so
was
many people-
exercising at home.
See, I need.
I was going to the gym, and when I get on, the coach is on there on Facebook, and it always makes me feel guilty. So I don't do it as often, but I still do it, and that's hard because it's easy to say no.
Oh yeah, everybody's saying, "Oh, what do you have all to do is catch up on your binge Netflix and all this stuff," and I'm like, "What? What time? Like, I'm still. I mean, but because there's a course, it's a 100-time acceleration. It's normally $3,000, and I've been taking it. He offered it through this time for free, and that's another thing. I love what so many people are doing. They're offering things free through April and that type of thing, things that normally charge, and I love that how people are taking this opportunity to give back. So I've been doing this course that's normally $3,000 and I'm getting it for free and I'm 7 days behind. And at the end of the month, it's going to stop. They're going to take it down. So I literally every day I wake up, I'm like, oh, I gotta, and it's not stuff that I could just listen to while I'm cleaning. It's stuff that I want to be on it, like how to market and how to it is so good. The stuff is so good. And so I just have to do it because if I paid $3,000, you better believe I'd be doing it. But so people are like, oh, I'm just binge watching and whatever. And I'm like, what? What are you?
I can only do that a little bit.
Right. But I do it's just, I think I have a greater appreciation for the things that are taken away. You know what I mean? A greater appreciation. But I have been able to get caught up on some rest too. So rest and cooking. Maybe that's where all my time is going because I'm sleeping too much.
I don't know. I slept really good last night, but I didn't sleep good for a while there.
There's our little friend, the dinosaur.
The dinosaur.
So when everything comes back to kind of normal and things begin to open up, what is the place you're looking forward to? One local Youngstown or surrounding area spot that you cannot wait to go to?
Oh, I can't wait to go back to my gym. Next level fitness. I really, truly can't wait to go back. To be in the gym atmosphere, it is such a good way for me to get all that anxiety out. And I can't wait. I can do it at home, but that is just different.
Okay, I've never been. So for those of us who've never been and who aren't really familiar with it, give a, 60-second, 30-second plug for what is it? Is it like classes only? Or is it?
Yes, it is morning and evening classes, Next Level Fitness Academy. He's in Lordstown. The owner's awesome, him and his family. Nice guy, very good community. He's doing stuff online. He makes sure he does meal prep. It's kickboxing, but it's fitness kickboxing. So it's not all that. It's a lot of it's like weights and different things like that. Angela's gone. Actually, she kind of pushed me into that too. And then, but
That's funny.
My daughter, she works at the next building in the martial arts, but I go back to the fitness, and I'll tell you, I did it for 6 months. Best thing I ever did.
Wow. We're going to start calling Ange Inspiration Ange.
And she is. She's a pusher. She just doesnn't know she's a pusher.
She does it by accident. It's like an accidental inspiration.
It is. It's
hashtag accidental inspiration. Right, Ange.
Good.
Okay, so I don't know if you heard the question, but I love that, and I love.
You don't want to watch Scooby-Doo.
Wait 1 second.
Got it. I love that you gave it a shout out, I guess. Okay, because hold on just a second here. Because it's a local spot. It's local people doing great things we don't even know about. We drive by these little places and we have no idea what's happening on the inside. So I love that. Ange, real quick, when everything reopens and things begin to feel like they're starting to get back to normal, one local place, one local restaurant, whatever, something local that you cannot wait to get back to or go try for the first time.
Actually, my girls and I are excited about going. It's a little coffee shop in Garrettsville, and to take all the girls and Abby and stuff to there, because Abby's 7.5 months pregnant, and it's really hard to stay away from her right now and not be there for her. But that's the number one. We miss going to like Starbucks. We've all driven by and are closed.
Right.
We want to try it's a new coffee shop in Garrettsville. I forget what it's called. But that's what I'm looking forward to.
Nice. And so that kind of begs, or leads to the question too. When I say Youngstown, I mean places. You're part of Youngstown Click. We're going to keep you and kind of introduce things not just within the city limits of Youngstown, but the surrounding areas as well. If it's something that is drivable or worth somebody living in Youngstown and the suburbs going to, we may talk about it, because that's all stuff it's available for us. So when we say Youngstown, it's not just within the city limits. It could be Garrettsville, even though I don't even know where Garrettsville is.
It's not that far. It's not bad.
Sorry, Garrettsville people. I'm sorry about that. I'll look at it.
Sellers or a coffee company, so I've been there and I really like it.
All right, well, then good. That's where we're going to go. Trish, Ange, we have a coffee date at the Cellar Door in Garrettsville. When all this is over. Thank you guys so much. Is there anything else you want to say? Maybe there's people watching. Is there anything that you've heard that may help whoever may be watching and just feeling kind of like they're failing through this? I mean, we talked about on the last interview, we talked about how people have to all of a sudden be themselves and
Right. Stay, come here, away from there.
you know what I'm saying? And so then they feel like they're not a good teacher. They never trained to be a teacher. But I think remembering too that mothers are naturally teachers. So own that. Don't compare yourself to
Come look out this window.
Elementary school teacher or high school teacher. Like, be your natural teacher, you know? Is there anything else that you have to say?
Just keep going. I take it day to day. You can't rely on the news and you can't rely on everything. You just have to believe that God's in charge. He's been in charge the whole time, even in the chaos. And no matter what, I know personally, it's always worked out. Usually when I let go, it's when I find that it's the easiest. So just give it to God, go to bed.
That's good. And you guys are not, that's really good too, because of your families, you're not feeling isolated. So for the people who are feeling isolated, I just want to say too, that you're not alone. And that's why we're doing this, because now you've met two people who are part of the clique, two people whose faces that you may see when we start getting together and doing events here to give you an opportunity to get out and meet new people. So you're not alone. You're not isolated. You're not failure. You're not going to be stuck in your house forever. So just know that there's hope, and know that you could come out of this greater and better and more confident, learn to play the piano, guitar, something. I mean, there's so many tutorials on YouTube. You could get a free Linda account. Linda teaches accredited things. You get certificates after going through it, and you can get a free Linda account, LYNDA, through Mahoning County Public Library. So if you don't have a card, don't worry, you can get a card right now online. You don't even have to go in and get one. So there's a little plug for that, but there's so many things you can do to come out of this stronger and better and not weighed down under what is right now. Ange, take us out. Give us a good word of advice.
She's got madness going on.
God is not a God of fear, and have trust in him and hope, and just keep your eyes on him, and he'll get you through this.
That's good. That's good. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, Ange and Trish. Guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I went a little bit long, but we definitely wanted to include you in to let you know that no matter what it is, no matter what your picture looks like, it all looks different to each one of us, but we're all in it together. So thank you for being part of the Click, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Good night, guys.
Right.
Good night.